Welcome to Calm Your Crazy. I'm Kiana Lambert, and tonight I'm going to be talking about how you have to rewire your entire system, and I'm going to tell you what that system is in order to rewire your reality. Now, I wrote this episode because I teach shifting reality and becoming a conscious creator of your reality. And I do it on social media, and I'm about to open a community where I teach it to women. And people are getting frustrated because they are trying the exercises and still having challenges with the change, with changing. And the reason for that, it's not your fault, but the reason for that is I cannot teach this entire thing with 3-minute reels and 2-minute videos or even 10-minute videos that are on YouTube. It's just too long. And so this episode is going to be about how you have to combine them and do them together in order to change and shift your reality, become a conscious creator of your reality. And I explain things on social media in many different ways. I could do it from the science angle, which is the medical science, and then I do it from the science angle, which is the quantum physics part of it. And then I do it from the perspective of the physical body, which can be confusing if you're following me and listening, but they all work together. The quantum side is how it's done in the quantum. The science side with the medical stuff is how it's done in your body physically. And these are the concepts of rewiring right here that I'm going to talk about tonight. And they all have to work together. They all have to come together in order for you to rewire your entire system and become a conscious creator and then shift your reality. It's a lot of tough concepts, and it's taken me 5 years to do this. 5 years to understand all this. 5 years of experimenting on myself to do this. Not including my entire medical history of work, which was my career, my 3 degrees in college, which I never used, but I got a bunch of information, and then my self-study of my ADHD rabbit hole, which I go down and grab all my information. I started studying quantum physics when I was doing post-bachelor sciences, when I thought I wanted to do med school, got interested in chemistry, got fascinated by that, and then started going into quantum physics. And that was in 2013. So I have a frick ton of experience and information. I have a huge brain. I come from trauma, and I was forced to memorize the entire Bible starting at 2 years old, or else I'd get beaten. So I have this enormous retention of memory because my brain associates not remembering with danger. So I have a high IQ. It is what it is. It comes from trauma. People that come from trauma have high IQs. Just most of them can't execute because of their wiring and their belief systems, which if they follow what I say and do, then they'll unlock themselves and be able to access their entire genius. So let's get started. You have to rewire your entire system to shift your reality. And you can't just rewire part of it. It has to be your entire self. And that entire self is the nervous system. And as a reminder, the nervous system is your brain, including your eyes. Your vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in your body. It controls all the signals that get sent in your body in response to what it believes you are experiencing in reality. And the belief that comes from that experience in reality comes from subconscious programming. And subconscious programming is everything you've experienced from inception to now. It includes your DNA from your parentage and their parents and your ancestry going back about 200 years, and that's called epigenetics. You also have to rewire your mind, which I call the self, and you have to rewire your body. If you try to do just one part of it, it's not going to work because they all work together. And trying to fix just one is like trying to patch groundhog holes while the groundhog is running all over making new ones, and you're following right behind it trying to patch those holes instead of just catching the groundhog. So if you do all three of them together, that's when you succeed in becoming a conscious creator and experiencing the change in reality that you want to see. So what is happening during the rewiring is that you are letting the you underneath out. You are healing your pain, which in practice is you shifting realities by choice as a conscious creator instead of being hijacked and reality creating itself over and over again through your subconscious programming. And you have no control over your subconscious programming. And all three of these work together. So what happens is when you try to rewire just the nervous system, you are still getting triggered by your thoughts. And that has to change. And the way you change your thoughts is that you rewire the mind and you rewire the belief system that come with the sense of self. Who you feel you are, who you think you are, and that is part of your subconscious programming. And when you rewire the sense of self in your mind, your thoughts change because you are tuning into a different frequency. And how does this happen? Because you simultaneously need to rewire the body that houses all the emotions and emits the frequency your thoughts are tuning into. And it all happens simultaneously, so it needs to be rewired simultaneously. So as a reminder, the reality you render is you and your experiencing of your outer reality situation, which triggers your nervous system. Your nervous system then sends a signal to your brain, which signals to release hormones in the body, and then it creates a feeling, which create emotions. And these emotions emit a frequency, which is then broadcasted by your electromagnetic torus field, which your brain tunes into, creating the thoughts that are associated with that frequency that you're emitting. The thoughts that come from that frequency are based off of your subconscious programming, which is everything you have experienced consciously and subconsciously from inception until today. Just as a recap. I said it like 5 minutes ago, but think about it. What else are you going to think about except for what you know? You can't think of things you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know, right? So if you have beliefs around yourself and your critical voice is shaming you and you are feeling guilt and shame, because guilt and shame is what you were taught, then those are the thoughts that come in and they shape your sense of self, which was created from childhood and what you were taught and what beliefs you created in response to what you observed. And this is going to cloud your reactions and your perceptions and everything you encounter. So it has to be rewired first. You rewire yourself / mind by knowing that the critical voice, the shame and guilt, is subconscious programming, and it's not you. The knowing has to be there first. Because when you know this, you don't know what you don't know, right? So when you know it, then you can do something about it. Knowledge is power, right? So you rewire that by knowing that the critical voice is shame and guilt, is subconscious programming, not you. And then you catch those thoughts. You feel the associated emotion. And you validate and you rewire with the truth. The truth is that of course you feel that way. Of course you do. After everything you've been through, what else were you supposed to feel? What else are you supposed to think about yourself? I mean, you don't know what you don't know. So now that you do know, of course you feel that way based on your childhood. And that's just subconscious programming and not who you are and not true. It doesn't matter who told you it was true. It doesn't matter. That's them. That's not you. You were a child. You formed these thoughts, beliefs, and feelings based on your environment and what you observed, what you felt, what you believed. So when you bring your awareness to this and bring your awareness to the emotion that is in your body and you feel it, this is also part of that rewiring, because your memories are housed in your body and they are part of that subconscious programming. And when you bring your awareness to it, this is body rewiring. It's part of that body rewiring, and it's happening simultaneously. And the rewiring is because you are moving that emotion through the body. And this continues the rewiring. And it continues that rewiring by signaling to the nervous system that you're no longer attacking yourself with that negative emotional frequency, which then rewires the nervous system on top of it, because the nervous system calms down and does not continue that loop of shame, which causes dysregulation. You see how it works together? Because shame, fear, and guilt are all emotions that emit a frequency. And that frequency is what the thoughts tune into. And it works the same way when you feel any emotion, even outside shame and guilt. It's all emotions. You have to catch the thought. You have to feel the associated emotion, validate yourself again, talk to yourself again, and tell yourself the positive truth, and that's the rewiring. If you don't catch the thoughts, which a lot of us don't catch the thoughts, especially when we're dysregulated and they're racing too fast, or if they're always in the background and you're not catching them or don't know how to, you're gonna feel when they're happening, because the emotion that you feel in your body doesn't feel good. And it's never going to feel good. And this is something that you really need to understand. It is never going to feel good. Negative thoughts create negative emotions that do not feel good. That's just the rule. They don't feel good. Negative emotions, negative feelings in the body, they don't feel good. And that means they are a lower frequency emotion. You feel it in your body, and it doesn't feel good to you. And guess why it doesn't feel good to you? Because it's incompatible with who you are. It is creating a mismatch in frequency to your baseline frequency. Your true frequency at its core is love. It's the secret to the universe. It's how it was made. It's love. That's why the Bible says God is love. God is light. Because it's just love. And you were born that way. You were born with that baseline frequency. You weren't born with sin. You're a baby. You know, you're not born with it. I don't believe in the karma or whatever. I believe that karma is epigenetics. That's what they're talking about. And that you have to relieve yourself of that, which is just rewiring and changing your reality. But not sin. Okay? So, the core of your frequency, which is you, your baseline frequency, is love. And so when you experience a frequency that is outside of that, you're going to feel it. And it's going to not feel good because it's not you. It's not true. It comes from your subconscious programming. So the pain of not feeling good is letting you know that there is a problem with the way you are thinking. So you're not catching your thinking, but you're feeling it. Some people can catch their thoughts, and maybe with practice over time, if you can't do it, you will be able to. But the feeling is the signal that you need to try to catch your thoughts, or if you can't catch your thoughts, that you need to validate yourself anyway and tell yourself positive things. And that the emotion you're feeling, the negative feeling of the emotion, comes from that subconscious programming, and it's a wound and a belief that's incompatible with who you are and needs to be processed and felt. Your true self is trying to get out and be happy and live a wonderful, creative life, and it wants that, and it should have that. So it's signaling to you that there's a frequency mismatch. You are broadcasting a different frequency than your true self, and it's creating a different reality than your true self wants, and it's signaling to you that you need to change it. And most of us walk around believing that what we think, believing what we think, believing that our thoughts are real, and we don't register our thoughts. We keep feeling the pain and we run from it, we numb it, we fight it, and not because we want to. It's most of us just didn't know how it works, and that we needed to fix it in order to change it. So this is part of it. And your nervous system is getting rewired when you don't react. That's part of the nervous system rewiring. So when you don't react to the triggers, you feel the emotion, you interrupt and rewire the thoughts, which even if you don't know what you're thinking, you can still rewire by validating, by telling yourself, of course you feel that way. Still works because you're feeling it. And I want to say the nervous system is not the enemy. Nervous system is just your mammalian wiring. It's there to keep you safe. And it only knows what it knows based on your history, which is subconscious programming. And it's just trying to keep you safe. When you rewire, you are showing your nervous system, i.e. your brain, that there is another truth besides the only thing it knows, which comes from your subconscious programming. And your brain, again, part of your nervous system, it sees that you're interrupting the loop, and it starts to change, and it starts to understand that this is different than the subconscious programming, and it records it as a new and different experience. This updates your subconscious programming, because you're going to continue to run your subconscious programming. You can't stay conscious of it all the time, but what this is doing is rewiring it and updating it. So it then, your nervous system, your brain, when it sees something, and your nervous system, when it feels something, knows that there's something new besides the old subconscious programming, and that there is a new subconscious program in place to respond to the same trigger. And over time, what happens is you move out of the lower frequencies and into the higher ones. And those higher ones broadcast through your electromagnetic torus field and then create the same loop, but with positive thoughts, positive emotions, and positive frequency, which then is reflected in your reality through situations that bring you more of those emotions, right? And this is how you change your reality. And this is how you become a conscious creator of your reality. And it doesn't just stop here. You have to take action. You have to take action towards what you want to create in this life. I'm taking action right now. I'm doing this podcast. I'm trying to teach people. I'm trying to figure it out myself. And while I'm simultaneously still rewiring, I mean, it took me 40 years to screw it up, or over 40 years, right? Not that I screwed it up, but you know, it was screwed up. And it's probably going to take me the next 40 years to unscrew it up till I pass on, you know? So it doesn't just stop here. You have to take action. And you have to rewire the body. And I talked about the body a little bit, but this is more of it. To rewire the body, you have to move those old emotions out when they come up. Okay? And yes, the nervous system is in the body, but what I'm talking about is specifically just in the body. And by body, I mean your fascia. Your memory lives in your fascia. It lives in your body. It lives in your tissues. And your fascia, as a reminder, is your crystalline substance that really holds your whole body together. And it can get stiff, and it can get stagnant from old emotions that aren't moving out and are stuck. And you have to rewire this part, not only with feeling the emotions that come through, but if you're not feeling emotions and you're not moving your body, then you have to rewire it with the movement, and you have to rewire it with stretching And that is if you feel pain and you're walking around and you feel pain in your body, it's usually because you're holding stuck emotions and your fascia stuck. And it's not like you can just be like, okay, I'm done with this. No, you have to pay attention to where that pain is, that uncomfortableness. It's not just muscle soreness. A lot of it comes from your fascia and from those old stuck emotions. So when you start the movement of it and you start talking to your body and talking to that pain and asking it what it is and what it needs to tell you and what's coming up for you, that's rewiring the body. That is feeling those emotions. And the point of rewiring the body is so that you can become fluid again and that you don't just house one emotion permanently. It's not like you can just grab happiness and freeze it. The whole point to unfreezing it and processing it and moving it through is so that you can have the full experience of the reality that you are creating in the moment. Because the point to life is to create. It's all a blank canvas. You can do whatever you want. And it's to feel the experiences that you are creating. And experience comes with all the emotions of being human, just like the light spectrum, the electromagnetic spectrum. The emotions have a spectrum too. And instead of running from them and fighting and living in the lower emotions, which are the ones that get stuck, and those lower emotions that are stuck are creating reality from those frequencies. If you feel them and move through them and out of them, then you start to be able to feel the higher ones. And the higher ones start to become your baseline. They become the ones that you feel more and more and more. And then the repetitive feelings and emotions are broadcasted, and that's the reality you experience. So the more that you move the emotions through and you become fluid and you start experiencing all the emotions, your baseline becomes more positive because your baseline frequency of who you really are is love. So the more that you are able to move through the emotions, the more that you come back to self and you choose the higher frequency with the rewiring, that's when you create a new reality. That's how you do it. You got to do all three of them together. So the question is, what emotions do you want to be your baseline frequency that your nervous system gets used to, that it adjusts to? Because right now, if your nervous system is living in fight or flight and dysregulation and the lower emotions, when you're creating reality based off those, and when you rewire it and you start doing it repetitively with consistency, then it becomes your baseline. It becomes something that your nervous system is used to. So what emotions do you want to feel? What emotions do you want to experience? What emotions do you want reality to reflect to you? You will control your reality as a conscious creator when you rewire. And do you want to stay in your lower frequency emotions and reality? Or do you want to rewire so that you can consciously become a creator of the reality you want to experience? I have exercises for all three of them on my social media. And you can go through them. Instagram has lower, like it's not the entire thing because their reels are limited to 3 minutes. But on my other social media channels, you can find the entire exercises. And if you do them, and if you stay consistent, and you start looking for answers, you will become a conscious creator and you will be able to shift your reality. So, do those three. Know and understand that you have to rewire the entire system and not just one side of it. And that's how you will become successful at creating your own reality and becoming a conscious creator of it. What I see are people teaching just parts of it. Just rewiring your brain, rewiring your nervous system, or regulating your nervous system, or teaching exercise, teaching diets, teaching mindset. You have to do all of those together. So find what works for you and do them all together, because it's all one system that has to be reprogrammed, rewired together. And people have different terminology and they have different ways of saying things. So you're going to have to use your intuition to understand and relate and form connections. My terminology is not universal. It's specific to me and how I understand it. And other people are going to explain it the way they understand it. And that might make more sense to you. But if you take away one thing from this is that you have to rewire the entire system in order to shift your reality. And that if it doesn't feel good, second thing, I guess, if it doesn't feel good, it's because it's incompatible with who you really are and what your baseline frequency is. And that everything you've done before was subconscious programming, your nervous system being hijacked, and that you get to change it now. You are not responsible for things you had no control over. And you know you didn't have any control over it because you never would have consciously chosen it. So now consciously choose it and change it. Rewire the old programming. When it comes up, say that's old programming. Choose a new feeling. Go through the emotions, feel them. If they don't feel good, they're not yours. They don't belong to you. They're subconscious programming, okay? I love you, I mean it, and I'll see you next week.